Do you believe this completely false myth about Instagram? Hello everyone! Welcome to Our Business with Ness. I'm Ness and I'm a professional illustrator. In the last few months, I've been posting a lot of Instagram tips over on my Instagram account. It's at vanessa.storylova. I'll leave a link somewhere and in the description if you want to check it out. So over that time, I've had a lot of really great conversations with artists about Instagram and their difficulties, obstacles, and frustrations. And I've noticed a lot of trends in what you guys are saying. There are some myths that artists really believe about Instagram, but that are not true at all. They might just be impressions or rumors, but whatever the case may be, they are very persistent and many artists believe them. Myths can do a lot of damage even if they're not true. I've seen many artists who feel very discouraged or even want to give up on Instagram altogether just because they believe one of these myths. So today, let's debunk them once and for all. But first, before we get into it, if you're new here and you'd like to see more videos like this, then please subscribe to this channel and hit the little bell. The bell sends you a notification every time I upload a new video, and this way you're sure that you won't miss any of the advice. Alright, so here are the 6 biggest damaging myths about Instagram. Myth number 1, the algorithm hates artists. I often hear this one as a reason for not even trying with Instagram. I'll create a new post that has a whole bunch of tips on how to grow your Instagram art account, and then someone will comment something like, "Why even bother? I've tried it all and the algorithm just hates me." When I check their account though, turns out they haven't really tried all of the tips that I talked about. The algorithm doesn't hate artists. The most we could say is that the algorithm is not a fan of the outdated way of posting that some artists still cling to. 2 static posts a month and not much else isn't going to do a whole lot for you. That's true. But that doesn't mean that Instagram as a whole has something against art. There are a lot of users on the platform who love art and they do want to see it. When we actually optimize our posts correctly, we can reach those people. I can completely understand that Instagram can make us feel a bit discouraged sometimes because it is hard. It might be easier to blame the bad algorithm for pushing us down than looking inward and maybe considering the fact that possibly our strategy just sucks, or our feed is inconsistent, or we've never bothered to make a reel. Some people feel that having a good look at our own flaws, that's really difficult and painful to do. Personally, I don't feel that way. Discovering that you still have space to improve is actually a very hopeful thing. You don't want to find out that you're doing everything right but it still doesn't work. Discovering where the problem is a good thing. But we can't control the Instagram algorithm, so complaining about it is just quite unhelpful. What we can do is learn how it actually works, try strategies that mesh well with it, and experiment to find out exactly what will work best with our audience. That's a proactive thing to do, and it will always yield more results than blaming the algorithm. Myth number 2, I don't make enough art to post weekly or daily. Let me tell you something. As part of this new Instagram course that I created last year, I created a 30-day challenge where people have to post something new every single day for 30 days, and that helps give them a little starting boost. Whenever I suggest this challenge to someone on my Instagram, often the reply I will get is, "I don't make enough art to be able to do that." This is a very outdated way of thinking that goes back to how Instagram worked when it first launched. Back then, it was pretty much one artwork equal one post. But we had much less choice back then. There wasn't even video on the platform. We didn't have carousels in the beginning. We didn't have stories. So we kind of didn't have a choice but just post the art as it was. We have more options now, and the platform has changed so much, we can't go back to how it was then. And that way of posting does not work anymore. Here is the thing. With the current state of the Instagram platform and all of the options that it gives you, you can, and you probably should, create more than one post for each and every one of your pieces of artwork. When you think about it, the static post with your finished artwork is the most basic and the most boring way to showcase your art. There are many other ways. And I know that you can be more creative than that. You can show the sketch, or you can do a reveal, or you can show parts of your process, etc. You can also repost your old art. People won't remember something that you posted a year ago or 2 years ago. Back when I launched my course last fall, I actually did 2 30-day challenges back to back. So I posted every single day for 60 days, and I didn't have to make any more art than usual to sustain that. Because honestly, creating new art daily would be absolutely bonkers. Myth number 3, creating reels takes a lot of time and or skill. In general, I have to say artists have been very resistant to reels. Influencers were the first to adopt them, and I think that we saw all the people dancing and the pointing and the lip syncing, and we thought, yeah, no, I'm an artist, I don't do that. Besides, you already have a hard enough time just posting static posts to your account. You don't have time to make reels. These are comments that I get all the time lately, and it's rooted in the myth that reels take a lot of time to create, but that is not true. I create all of my reels for an entire month in just 1 day of work, to give you an example. I've developed a lot of hacks over time to make creating reels a lot more quick and easy. I had a comment the other day that said, I don't want to make reels, I'm not a videographer, I just don't have that kind of skill. And so really, this needs to be said. You don't need the skills of a videographer to be able to make reels. I think what we're imagining is that we have to record our entire work process in super HD with a perfect candlelit atmosphere, and then painstakingly stitch together the 16 different clips that best showcase our entire day of work. If that's what you're thinking reels need to be, let me reassure you that this is not it. You want to know a secret? Short and simple reels actually perform better. My own best ever reel is a single clip of 6 seconds. I just filmed it with my phone, and I didn't even use a phone stand, so it's kind of shaking. As of now, it has almost 1 million views. So if you really think that reels are too hard or take too much time to make, then maybe you need to reevaluate what you think reels are. Work smarter, not harder, especially if you're very busy or don't have a lot of free time. Then don't do the long, complicated reels. Find something that's quicker to make, something simpler that works for you. And if you need some ideas to get you started, I have just the thing for you. I have a free Instagram guide. It's called Easy Reel Ideas for Artists. It's completely free, and I will leave the link to that in the description below. Myth number 4, hashtags help us get found on Instagram. A common question I get asked about Instagram is, what hashtags should I use? Or how can I find the best hashtags to use? And when I get that question, I'm always like, because I can see how hard you're trying, but really that is a wrong question to ask. There are at least 50 other things that are more important to focus on than hashtags in order to grow your account. The hashtag system really doesn't do much for you anymore. It's a relic from the old Instagram when it just launched. At first, hashtags were the one and only method of choice to find content on the platform and get found in return. You could even follow hashtags. But as more and more users joined the platform, those hashtags became very saturated very quickly. It started becoming harder to find content just by looking up the hashtag, because even the longer and more niche hashtags now have millions of posts under them. How do you find anything? And your post only remains at the top of the newly posted list for that hashtag for maybe seconds or up to a minute before it gets completely buried by new content. With hashtags becoming less and less efficient to use, they have been declining in usefulness for years at this point. And so Instagram saw that and they revised their algorithm. Before, your explore page would show you posts from hashtags that you're following or hashtags that you're engaging with or using yourself. But now, the algorithm works more like a search engine. It will look at all the words in your caption and even on the screen to try to figure out what the post is about. Then it will categorize it by topic and show you on your explore page the topics that you've shown interest to. This is a much more complicated system, and it probably took Instagram a lot of time and resources to develop it. But now that it's there and it exists, it's a much better, much sophisticated system, than the prior system of hashtags. So those hashtags have really been pushed to the side. The only remaining common use for hashtags that I've seen is when you're participating in some sort of challenge or contest and all the participants are using the same hashtag, something just for the challenge. Apart from that, I have to say, I think hashtags have become pretty much useless by this point. Think about it this way. When is the last time that you search a hashtag to find some art on the platform? So do you use hashtags? Do you not use hashtags? Basically, it's up to you. Using hashtags won't hurt you at all, but it also won't help you much. It just doesn't do much either way. I still use about 5 or 6 hashtags in all my posts just because, it's easy enough and I like to cover all of my bases. But I've run tests before where I posted reels that have no hashtags at all, and those reels did just as well as usual. So I certainly don't go out of my way anymore. It's just a waste of time, especially using all 30 of them. That is a complete waste of time. Anything above like 1 or 2 minutes of your time, I think is too much because it just won't do much for your posts. Myth number 5. Everyone's reach is tanking because of the new algorithm. We often hear popular artists on the platform once in a while post a story and be like, hey, my reach has been really low lately. Have you guys noticed it too? Has there been an algorithm change again? Usually when that happens, everyone chimes in, yeah, my reach has been low. Yeah, me too. It just suddenly stopped coming in, etc., etc. The thing is, everyone's reach kind of goes up and down and up and down and up and down. That is completely normal on Instagram. So all of these things that we hear from popular artists and then everyone else chiming in is just anecdotal evidence of everyone that is currently in that low period before it goes back up. The only way that it never goes back up again is if you give up because you think it's not working anymore. But when you keep going and refine your strategies, it goes right back up again. Ever since last fall, I've seen this pattern over and over again. I will be posting super regularly and my views will be really, really up. And then I'll have a week or two where it's just really low. And I'm thinking like, what happened? Why is it not working anymore? But I trust in my strategy. So I keep going, I keep posting, and then suddenly it goes back up again. And then it goes down again. That's just normal. When you have a great strategy that really works, what you're looking for is a good average over time and a general improvement over time. There's this persistent myth that every once in a while, Instagram changes its algorithm just to curb our success a little bit. Like it sees us doing well and just wants to kick us down a little bit. There's no logical reason for Instagram to curb our success like this. Apart from the general up and down that always goes on with every account, the other reason that you might see a trend downward is just because there's more and more users on the platform, so more competition. You might have been getting all of the views before, but now if those same views are divided up between 100 people, you get less. But the thing to remember is there are still the same amount of views to distribute. So if you do your best to improve your strategies and stand out from all the other 100 artists, then you will be the one getting all those views, not them. And that's how you can get your reach back up again. The good thing to remember is if you've been seeing a decrease in your reach, that's not just like 2 or 3 weeks, but that has been going on for a longer period of time. That means that you need to switch up your strategy. What you're doing right now, it's not working. And no matter how long you keep doing it, it won't work any better than how it's doing right now. It's either because you're not standing out from the competition or the way you post is just become a little bit outdated and doesn't keep up anymore with what the users prefer to see on the platform. Because while the algorithm's code itself doesn't change significantly every couple months, what does change is the users' habits on the platform, and that does influence the algorithm. So people might be preferring short reels, for instance, because on Instagram there's a very short attention span. Maybe you're not hooking people's attention fast enough so they just scroll by. Maybe your posts aren't optimized so people can't find you as easily as they can find other artists. Or maybe you don't encourage engagement at all on your posts, and that doesn't really work so well with the algorithm's grading system. After all, if no one is engaging with your posts, the algorithm is going to think that it's because your posts aren't as good. So bottom line, no, the algorithm hasn't changed and it hasn't thrown you a curveball just because, but it is a reflection that people actually are choosing to see other people's content more often than they are choosing to watch yours. So why is that? That is the really important question to ask yourself. And finally, myth number 6, it's impossible anymore to grow on Instagram. While it is true that Instagram is more competitive than ever, I've said so myself in this very video, it may seem impossible to grow now because you're doing what used to work in the past and it doesn't work anymore. So that may feel like, well, it's not working, it's impossible now. The thing is, we all need to adapt now. Even if we were winning the game several years ago, it's a different game now. And to note, it doesn't mean that it's a worse game. We have more options now to create our content. I think that's a good thing. And it makes Instagram a more fun, more surprising, more diversified platform. It gives you more chances to create something that's really unique and stands out from all the others. If you make an effort to optimize for the algorithm and create engagement and create a very strong strategy on your Instagram account, which might be much less difficult than you think, then yes, you will be able to stand out from the competition and you will be able to grow. After all, most artists still post blindly. They have never read the algorithm's playbook. They don't know how it works. They just post whatever, and most of the time it kind of works like so-so. So as an artist, if you actually learn how the algorithm works, you have such an advantage over the competition. But don't take my word for it. See some of my results when I decided to learn the algorithm. My account had been kind of stagnating at around 1,500 followers for years at this point. You know the dance, kind of gain 20, lose 10, gain 10, lose 20, and it kind of just stays there. Last year, I got tired of that and I decided to up my strategy. And since then, I went from 1,800 followers to now I have over 6,400 followers. This is just in less than 6 months. And I'll put some screenshots on the screen so you can see some of the amazing growth that I've seen. Something like 600% more followers in the last 30 days and things like that I started seeing in my insights after I implemented an actual strategy. Who would have thought? And I'm not alone. I've heard so many great stories from my students who have taken my course that not only my tips make the content easier to create, more sustainable to create, but that they work just so much better now. And if you would like to learn too, I have some great news for you because I'm actually running a special sale promotion right now. So my course, Instagram for Artists, is going to be 20% off for the next week. The regular price is $57, but for the next week, it's going to be only $45. And not only that, I'm also throwing in a nice bonus, a personalized 5-minute video audit of your account. So this is a one-on-one support, completely personalized. Well, I will go over your account and do a review of both your profile and your content to see where your strengths are, when your weaknesses are, and your next steps. Everyone who signs up in this coming week will get one. You can decide if you want to get it right away or if you want to do it after you've had time to go through the course and do some changes. But hurry up, this is only until Sunday, April 21st. I can't keep it up much longer after that because I have limited time and I won't be able to audit thousands of people, so I have to keep it short. If you want the course at the special price plus the video audit, then hurry up and sign up right now. I will leave the link in the description down below and on the screen as well. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful, and if you did, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help our small channel grow. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!